A break in the clouds. I think you're going to see some sun over the next couple of days. Hong Kong at 23 degrees. Most of the rain shower activity will be over here towards the west, and also up to the north and the northwest. We're going to be picking up some very heavy snow showers into their forecast, and that is going to stay as we go into Friday. Down towards Australia, well, that's going to be a big story there. We have a lot of flooding going on. This has been a big problem over the last several weeks. We're looking at this area of low pressure still spinning really in the same location that we've had over the last couple of days. This is going to be bringing some flood warnings and flash flood warnings into effect for parts of Northern Territory as well as Queensland. Down towards the south, Sydney looking quite nice at 28, as well as Adelaide looking nice at 26.
The army has to prove they have no intentions of hijacking power and of keeping any remnants of the old regime.
From people making the news.
The earthquake happened over a year ago. Now you want to come back and help your fellow Haitians?
To those it affects.
If Washington doesn't begin to help stabilize the government, it will create a backlash.
Behind the headlines.
Neither the United States nor China can hurt the other without hurting itself.
Is the inside story. At this time on Al Jazeera.
If you're a Nokia user, you can download Al Jazeera's news widget from Nokia's Ovis store. The news widget, available on compatible Nokia devices, gives users quick and easy access to real-time news updates from Al Jazeera English. See the world in real time. Al Jazeera Mobile.
Gaddafi's warplanes turned the skies over eastern Libya into a hellish scene as the rebels press on.
About 500 metres away as well, we can hear the rebels are firing mortars up into the air where the Gaddafi bombers are still circling overhead.
Hello and welcome to Al Jazeera, live from Doha. I'm Sami Zaidan. Well, that report from eastern Libya in a moment, plus an update from the west. Both sides claim victory in Zawiya near Tripoli after a battle which claimed at least 40 lives. Also ahead, fresh turmoil in Egypt's Tahrir Square as armed men attack pro-democracy protesters.
Main gear touchdown.
And a veteran of space travel makes its final landing before retirement. Dozens of people have been killed in the latest fighting in Libya between Colonel Gaddafi's forces and rebels. Battles raging right along the coastline. There have also been big diplomatic pushes by both sides. Al Jazeera's Jackie Rowland was there as the bombs fell on Ras Lanuf in the east.
The attack comes from the sky. Pro-Gaddafi forces unleash a savage counter-offensive against the town of Ras Lanuf. Rebel fighters on the ground are sitting targets. They're vulnerable and they know it. Gaddafi's bombers have hit an oil storage depot about 10 kilometres to the west. Even from Ras Lanuf, the damage is tangible. We want to take a closer look, so we hitch a ride on the back of a pickup truck. We're not the only ones racing west. Rebel fighters are moving up to the front line. And on the roadside, a reminder of the grim tally of dead and injured. Medics prepare to take the wounded back to Ras Lanuf. The columns of smoke loom ominously on the horizon. We move closer.
Well, it does appear to be some kind of an oil installation. And as we approach it, we can see that the bombers have hit it in 3 different points. And this closest point here, we can actually see the flames. About 500 metres away as well, we can hear the rebels are firing mortars up into the air where the Gaddafi bombers are still circling overhead.
They drop another bomb inside the fence of the oil storage depot. Gaddafi's forces are clearly targeting this facility. The rebels fire multiple rocket launchers. Their target, not the warplanes, but rather a small group of pro-Gaddafi troops on the ground. Those troops are firing mortars from beneath the oil depot. They appear to be outflanked by the rebels. And all the time, the dense smoke rises, turning the afternoon into a premature night. We take shelter in a ditch in the desert. Unbeknown to us, the rebels have moved more rocket launchers to a sandbank behind us. The pro-Gaddafi troops have spotted them. They send their mortars thundering in.
Guys, we have to go. We have to get out of here.
The mortar and rocket fire stops for a moment, our chance to escape. We have been 1 kilometre from the front line, and what we have seen has changed our perception of this rebel force. They've demonstrated more know-how than we had given them credit for, and their courage and determination are undeniable. Jackie Rowland, Al Jazeera, outside Ras Lanuf in eastern Libya.
That was the scene in Ras Lanuf, and Gaddafi's forces have also been bombarding other areas of eastern Libya. In nearby Bin Jawad, rebels fought to hold the town in the face of fierce attacks by Gaddafi's forces, which are using tanks and warplanes. Well, it's not clear who now controls this area. Well, AlJazeera is not far from the cities under fire and is under rebel control for the time being. Al Jazeera's Tony Bertley has more.
If it was deliberate, the attack on the oil refinery depot in Ras Lanuf shows a worrying trend and escalation, and is bringing home the fears of many people here that Gaddafi will unleash his air force and destroy the oil and gas installations in the area. Fortunately, this was only an oil storage depot, but if it was the gas installation complex, which is not far away, then it would be far worse scenario. Thousands of people would be killed when toxic gases would be released into the air. So it's a very, very worrying time for people here. But it's showing also that the front lines here are very fluid. We understand from the government sources that they're claiming they've taken the Bin Jawad area back. The opposition forces say they still have it. Very confusing to get an accurate handle on what is going on. But there is confusion, but there is also ultimate determination from the opposition forces. They're still massing no matter what. They are intent on going down that road and progressing as far as possible. And even if that means their death, they're very committed to this situation. We tend to think that maybe things are going on behind the scenes. There may be talks going on in secret to try and get a peaceful solution, because we haven't yet seen Gaddafi unleash the full might of his force. We know that 200 kilometers away in Sirte, his stronghold, there's high-tech weaponry and there are 4,000 well-trained men. He hasn't used them yet. We're seeing every single day the Air Force in action dropping 2 or 3 bombs, but largely these are missing their targets. So we're asking the question, are the pilots deliberately doing that, or are they just sending a warning signal? We don't know. It's a very confusing situation. It seems to become more confused by the day.
Well, that's what's been